Hi everyone, welcome back. So I was inspired to do this video after I saw this video of this couple go viral. Now I had been following this couple for a little while, not like closely, but I have been exposed to some of their videos, and to see what transpired in that viral video between this black couple, it really, oh my gosh, it really struck me, and it's so disheartening to see like all of the pain, the suffering, the heartache that black women go through in the name of love. Right? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for love myself, right? Love is beautiful when it's pure. That's the problem, right? I think a lot of what black women fall for, what we think is love, is not really love. Maybe it started out as love, but then somehow it evolved into something else, right? And then we end up making these negotiations as the love progresses. We end up compromising, all in the name for love. So I'm going to talk about that here in this video. And someone shared a post that said that black women, we deserve to experience love without having to go through the suffering first. It's just like, where along our development, along our conditioning in life, that, and I know exactly where it come from, and I'm going to talk about that here in this video, but it's just sad to see that we have been conditioned to associate suffering with love. And it's like the more we suffer, the more we feel love. It ain't no goddamn way, yo. And listen, I know we all have been there, so none of us can really look down on the next woman, right? We all got a hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight bias is 2020. So we all have been there and looking back. But it's just, I guess, when you come to a point, and sometimes it takes going through the trenches, right? It takes going through those failed relationships, those toxic relationships, being abused, being mistreated, being thrown out and discarded and belittled and dehumanized in relationships, to come to a point where you really truly value who you are. And that's sad though. Like sometimes obviously we have to take a look within ourselves too, because the finger is often pointed at the man. Typically, hopefully my video is still in sync. I see that it's chopping up. But oftentimes the finger is pointed at the man, who is typically the abuser in those relationships, saying, oh, he did this, he did that. But it's just like, what is it within us? Obviously, we've been primed for this, right? So just to give you guys a little background, and feel free to drop your comments below if you have seen this viral video. And I really don't want to say the person's name, the couple's name, but it's already out there, right? You say, yes, talk about it. You grow out of the lust. What love got to do with it? Love ain't got nothing to do with it. But people say, oh, I just want to stay with this person because I love him. And it's just like the depths that women are willing to go. Not to say men don't find themselves in the same predicament, but it's usually women, yo. We have an immeasurable amount of this major capacity to just experience pain and suffering. It's just like, how much does it really take? So there's this viral video that is going around. I saw it on Facebook. And this couple is called LaTruth. LaTruth, right? The guy, I think the guy name is LaTruth, and then his wife is Mrs. LaTruth. And the first video that I saw was basically it was a compilation of videos, essentially. Like, they were going through this breakup, and being that they are content creators, their whole relationship is just broadcast publicly for people to just scrutinize, criticize, break down, tear apart, and all of that, right? So they are, each of them have their own platforms, their own channel, and they are going, making videos, posting these videos about what led up to the breakup, right? Each of them sharing their side of the story. But what struck me was her side, and she's telling me, this is the first video I saw, she's saying that, I was just like, to me, it's so hurtful, y'all. I can't even, like, put my words together because it's so painful. But she's saying how it went down that day when he put hands on her, essentially. So, yes, she looked at his phone, saw something that she didn't expect to see, didn't want to see. But apparently they had already had this agreement where he had access to her phone, she had access to his phone, vice versa. So it's just like they got access to each other's phones. So this wasn't out of the ordinary that she was looking through his phone. She, in his phone, finds some stuff that she obviously didn't want to see. Asked him about it, confronted him about it, and that led to this whole back and forth argument between the two. Amidst all of this, this man picks up a tote, right, a container, like a storage container, and shoves it over her head. Okay, shoves it over her head. In the process of all this happening, somehow her finger gets broken, right? And there was some, concern about whether or not it was really true that her finger got broken. But no, her finger, she was injured, right? But even beyond the physical injury, I think it's more so the emotional, the psychological abuse that she endured. And then it just all began to come out. Now, this isn't nothing new. That's the thing about in relationships, when things go left, it's not the first time that something like this has happened, right? Like, you can tell, like, the progression of their relationship, and maybe it started out all peaches and cream, and, usually that's how it is, right? And it made me reflect on my own personal previous relationship, which I'm going to self-disclose bits and pieces of that, which I've already done that, so me and you guys who follow my videos have already seen that. But yeah, it starts out sweet, right? None of this, like, this true character of this person is really revealed. And then it's the test of time. It's these trials and tribulations that really bring out who that person truly is. It brings out the best in that person. And she had basically divulged that, after they had this big argument, and he smashed her freaking body inside this tote, and she was trying to defend herself. Meanwhile, her finger got injured. Like, from that, she took to social media and obviously was venting, was sharing her perspective. And to see that, like, you can see that she's a battered woman, right? You can see how abused psychologically, emotionally, and, he's, like, gaslit her so bad, right? Even after the fact that it's clearly like he shouldn't have put hands on her, right? But he had to rationalize it and justify it and make excuses. Of course, he's go online telling his side of the story, right? And he's like, oh, I was just trying to protect myself because you was coming at me. Really, she was trying to get the phone, right? But either way, I feel like men are much stronger than women, right? Much stronger than women, right? Their strength is very disproportionately far stronger than a woman's strength. His size is much bigger than her, right? So for him, like, oh, I was trying to protect myself, like, you can tell who had the power in that relationship. The power dynamic was very clear. You can see that he ran that relationship. She was at his beck and call. And I guess she said no more, but it's just like, I guess it gets to a point where how much can a woman take? And when she's reached her breaking point, that's it, right? And it's like, I think that's the problem, though, because I'm speaking about black men. Of course, this topic can apply to any dynamic of a relationship or any race dynamic of a relationship, but we're talking about the black woman and the black man here in this video. And it's just like, it's unfortunate that black men have to lose something so valuable for them to really appreciate it and see the damage that they've done. Don't even see that this woman is giving herself to you. She's given so much, right? You guys have to go and watch her videos and you'll be able to see for yourself, like, their relationship dynamics, to see, like, yo, she has been there for him. And just to see that he just got diagnosed with cancer, stomach cancer, and she was there with him through that, paying his bills, right? And she said all the long up until this point, he had sent her signals, right? And he kind of been doing his own thing, just being very disrespectful towards the sanctity of their marriage. This is a married couple here. They do have a child together. She has, I think, like 3 children before that marriage, right, from another relationship. But she's given so much to this man just to be treated like that and humiliated and gaslit. And he's trying to justify what he did, saying, oh, no. Like, yes, I had to come here and do this video, yo, because I was just like, I could not be me. Yes, it was me, though. But looking at the situation now, from where I sit right now, that's so complicated when it comes to dating, because I know myself, and sometimes all it takes is that one bad relationship, y'all. When a woman goes through that one sour relationship, it's unfortunate, but it's unfortunate what they call it. You know, it's like broken goods, tainted goods. It's unfortunate, but a lot of women have got to that point. And meanwhile, I also follow this other woman. She's a mother. She's a cult survivor. She was a part of this cult, married to this cult leader, got pregnant. They had a baby and everything. She endured so much abuse. And I was just on her live, and she's in such a different place, right? So every woman who goes through something like this obviously has their points of development, right, and are at different stages. So for Mrs. LaTruth, I think her name is Brianna, she is just coming out, like, she is just experiencing this awakening. And it's good that it's hitting her. And it's difficult because it's like you love a person. She feels love for this man. But meanwhile, it's like she doesn't have any love left within her. Like, when you have been destroyed, like your psyche, you have been broken down, you have nothing else left within you. Meanwhile, she still has 4 kids she has to raise. It comes to a point where you say, nah, something gonna have to give, right? Because I'm not myself anymore, right? So it's good that it finally hit her, but it's still, she's in a very vulnerable position. I remember that, y'all. I know it. Any woman who's been through it know it all too well, though, because it's like there's many different phases to you coming to appreciate who you truly are, coming to that awakening, and being able to detach yourself from something that has had a hold over you for so many years, y'all. That shit is it's difficult, it's hard, but each passing day makes it easier, right? And it's like you're beginning the healing process, and you just have to have that willpower and stand firm. I've been there, and I'm going to talk about my own experience in a minute, but Mrs. LaTruth, or Brianna, she's at that phase, right? She's very vulnerable. She's slowly breaking away, right, from that psychological abuse, and looking at her situation juxtaposed against this other woman who I follow, who was a part of the cult, and seeing how far she has grown, how far she has healed. Now, she still has much more healing to do, but it's just to see, like, what they call it, damaged goods, as I was trying to think of the phrase, damaged goods. And these are beautiful women, like high potential women. You know, they have so much wealth within them, right? So much to give. And so you wonder, like, why does this have to happen to these kind of women? Even including myself. But looking at, I see myself actually in both of these women. right? But looking at the different stage that this other woman is in, and she's much younger too. She's like 25 years old, the one that was part of the cult. And seeing that she's a bit far removed from that relationship, that very abusive, toxic relationship. I think it's been maybe 2 years since she left that. And she is single. She's a single mother, raising her child by herself. She actually had another child after that relationship. I think she did that to kind of get over that hump, because it can be so difficult. So it was like the guy that she had her youngest child from was pretty much like a rebound. Unfortunate, right? But listen, everything happens for a reason. So very beautiful children that she has. But seeing where she's at developmentally as it relates to coming out of that very toxic relationship, right? And hearing her talk about, her experience in dating since she left that. It's not gonna be easy, right? Because it's just like, you've been through the trenches. You've seen the lowest that a man could treat a woman. You felt that. Not only that you see, but you experienced that. It does have a way of kind of reshaping who you are and your perception in the world, right? Of the world. Like it begins to kind of taint and color the lens in which you look at the world differently. I won't say it's not neither good nor bad, but it's just like you see the world differently. You're much wiser, right? And then you begin, it's easier for you, and I said to her on her live, I said that your experiences have allowed you to have a fine-tuned lens at which you look through when it comes to dating. So you can see right through the bullshit, right? So that's actually a gift, right? That comes only with experience, right? That wisdom that she has at such a young age, having been through the fire, So it's a benefit to it. It's advantages of going through such traumatic experiences, but at the same time, it's like you're tainted. You become damaged goods, and you really don't trust anyone. You have your guard up. Right, you don't want to let anyone in because you're so afraid of. You don't want to go down that path. You don't even want to come anywhere remotely close to that. Right, so any man that expresses interest, you automatically just shoot his ass down. Nobody has a shot, right? Literally, nobody has a shot at coming anywhere close to you, because you've been through the deepest pit of fucking hell that a man could put you through, right? And yes, a woman has to take responsibility for her role in that, because yes, one can say, oh, well, she stayed, she attracted that kind of man, right? She probably reinforced his behavior, she played a role in that. Right? So, yes, the blame cannot always be put on the man, but seeing Brianna's situation, right? And then also seeing this other woman's growth and development that she's endured since she left that very toxic relationship, right? Enabler, that's what I was trying to think. You become like a woman is an enabler in that situation. Even speaking for myself, like reflecting on my own personal experience in such a very traumatizing and humiliating, like it was just all the way around bad. Like, yes, nothing is all bad, and I think that's a trick part and the reason why women do stay. You ask them, like, why are you staying? First of all, it's just like the relationship could have easily been built on love, right? They genuinely do have love for each other. But that power exchange can be very tricky. And for me, I am naturally submissive. I think most women are. Right? And you are giving your love, your very sacred love, to a man. Submitting to him. Allowing him to take the lead. And he does. Right? He paying all the bills because that's what he say he want to do. And I'm like listening to Brianna's situation, and it's like, I was in that exact same situation. That what she's as she's recounting her story and how she got to that point, You know, she was like, yeah, he told me I don't have to work. Like, same thing my ex told me, you don't have to work. And this is like the ideal. Like, this is the fairy tale representation of what a lot of young girls envision love and marriage to look like, right? Being a stay-at-home mother, you know, allowing him to take the lead, allowing him to pay bills, allowing him to work. You know, you can work if you want to, but you don't necessarily, it's not expected, right? I was not expected to contribute financially to the household, but that does, alongside that, come with a certain dynamic and power exchange, and he had full control. And I think this is where it gets tricky, because when certain kind of men have that degree of control, it's a fine line, they abuse it. We're talking about men who have been abused themselves growing up, haven't had the best spoon to their mouth growing up, right? Who've had their own set of traumatic experiences throughout their life, and then they're given this amount of control and a degree of power over a woman. It's easy, I think, for men to unfortunately cross that line, that boundary. It's like the woman in that relationship becomes an enabler, because yes, you may be hurt by certain things that he's done in that relationship, but you're still with him. So that's how it reinforces it, right? And he's just sucking the life out of you, just sucking that power out of you, right? And I pose a question to any black woman watching this, including black men too. Like, why? Why do we have to pay this immeasurable cost to just be loved? Why? We don't deserve it. We don't deserve to have to go through all of that. And I look at her situation, and yes, and I identify so much with it, but I can't help, but just feel proud of myself for being single. Yeah, like my reaction to that, like I said, yes, part of me is just like, damn, I can relate, because I was there many, many years ago. Right? Because I've been single since 2017. That relationship ended. That was my last relationship. Ended December 2017. We are approaching December 2022. That means 5 years your girl has been single and free from that fucking toxic ass relationship. Okay? So I have been there. I ain't even begin to touch the surface of the shit that I've been through. It's like so shameful to even get on here and even talk about some of the shit. It's like, where was your mind at, right? But once you go through that, you don't have to worry about going through that shit again. That's one thing for sure. But yeah, it's like, why do black women have to pay that cost just to be loved? And like I said, yes, I identify and listen to Brianna, reflect on her relationship with this man, right? And how it somehow developed and ended up in this situation. And my heart goes out to her, but I couldn't help. And this is pretty much the sentiment of this video that I just want to release out to the universe. It's like, I couldn't help but think, like, thank God that's not like me. Like, thank God, right? And also thinking about my quest to meet my significant other, to meet my other half, to, fall in love again. Like, yes, I have been single, but at the same time, yes, I'm only human. Yes, I desire love. Yes, I want to procreate. I have a womb that's fully functioning, okay? It works. My body works, so I can produce children. But at the same time, like, I don't want to just be careless about that, right? So given that I went through that situation, I'm very overprotective of my space and my energy, right? I think it's very difficult for any man to pierce that, because I know damn sure I don't want to go down that road. But, and looking at Brianna's story, and of course there are many millions of other women who can relate and have shared in the same story. It's just like, I'm like, thank God. It's the reason why I'm single, y'all. Because ain't no fucking way being who I am today, going through some bullshit like that. Oh no, you got to go. And for me, it's just like, I think what it is that once a woman, all it takes is one fucking relationship. And you got, listen, men, you got to be careful. And I've come across men on dating site, just recently, where a man said, man, these women are bruised women. You know, he's like kind of, you know, expressing his difficulty in finding a partner. He's like, yeah, women, they done been through some shit, you know. They have unhealed wounds, and, you know, he's saying that. And I couldn't disagree with him, right? Because I get it. And it's like, you know, when a woman has been through the trenches and, you know, has those unhealed wounds, it probably ain't never gonna fucking heal. That's the thing. You know, no matter fucking therapy can heal that shit, because listen, it serves a purpose. Listen, you hear me? We're talking about survival here. We're talking about women who have come close to death, right? Like when you have been brutally beaten, you're close to death. You get what I'm saying? When you've been through that fire, you ain't trying to go back down that fucking road. And any person who resembles anything close to it, an inkling of what you went through, they better fucking be, they better beware. You better be fucking aware. So, yes, I think for men, talking to my brothers here, you got to be fucking careful who you play around with, because some women don't have it. Like, they've already been down that road. They don't have it within them to take another heartbreak and get your shit together. Come correct or don't come at all. It's very dangerous. And I'm speaking for myself. Listen, I know me, okay? I know me, and it's just like, I thank God. I thank the universe. It's a reason why my ass is single, because I'm afraid for myself. For the other person, knowing myself, I will be in fucking prison. You hear me? I will be in, and this is not just talking. This is straight truth. With the way dudes play, that's why I cut that shit off. I cut it short because I don't have time to play games. Right? Either you're gonna go in and you serious or you not. Dudes be playing these games, being disrespectful. You can very well find yourself missing, and nobody's gonna come and look for your ass. Right? Because a woman, after you've been through that, it's just like, never again. It's gonna be you, but it ain't gonna be freaking me. And thinking about my ex, honestly, I don't even know where the hell this motherfucker is at. That's what, it kind of creeped me out, because we parted ways. Like, we were living together. He was paying the bills and everything like that. He followed me out to LA. That's how crazy, that's how, like, insane our love was for each other. Right? I left New York, left him in New York to get away from him, moved all the way out to LA to get away, okay? Yes, I made the best of what it was in pursuing my PhD while I'm out there, because I'm always goal-driven. But what really got me away from New York and out in LA was because I was escaping a fucking toxic-ass relationship. This shit was real, y'all. I don't have time to go into that shit too deep here. But he followed me out there. We get together, but when the shit hit the fan and it was just enough is enough. Like, get your ass out. You got to go. I said, even, this was a place where we lived together. We're living in Hollywood, California. I didn't care. That's at the point, like, yo, something gonna have to give. It's just too much. And thankfully, he was a bigger person and he left. It was difficult, though, for him to leave, to part ways. So he only moved, like, right around the corner from where we live. And so he was, like, just a block away from me in Hollywood, California. And honestly, I do not know what happened to this guy. I feel bad, though, because I feel like there was a time when I ended up leaving Hollywood. I moved to South Central LA. And I kid you not, I was freaking asleep, y'all. And I woke up to this spirit outside my window, peering through my bedroom window. And I let out this loud ass fucking I was just like, I screamed so loud, and when I screamed, it disappeared. And I'm like, I know I'm not fucking hallucinating. That's a fucking real spirit. And I felt that it was his spirit. And I'm thinking like, damn, what if his ass is dead, yo? I don't know where the hell his ass is at. He could be dead. I don't know. But I know that that's not my fucking trouble anymore. I ain't got to worry about that shit. And I know that we went our separate ways. I thought it was odd, though, because he was a stalker. This motherfucker stalked my ass, and I had to essentially get LAPD involved to intervene in a situation, right? But he was one of those people, like, oh, if I can't have you, nobody can't have you kind of thing. And there's nowhere in this is things he said to me, there's nowhere in this world you can go and I won't be able to find your ass. Like, and it's like, you have men that say that shit out their mouth, but no, this motherfucker was really about that, right? Like, crazy kind of love, yo. And I had been through so much fucking hell. And you know you have to go through some freaking serious deep hell for a woman to just out of nowhere spontaneously pack up her shit and just leave and go on to the other side of the fucking country, my nigga. Like, I was supposed to be in fucking UK, in London. That's where I was supposed to go. But I ended up going to LA, and it was, that's a whole separate story. I don't even want to get into that. He ended up coming out there. It's just insane. So trust me when I say I know what it's like. I've been there, and it's unfortunate that Brianna, she got kids, and they have a kids, and I feel for her, and she's saying, like, she's at the point where she was like, I think she was on her live, and they was asking her, because people try to encourage you, right? So I think people were saying, like, oh, you're going to find you somebody or whatever, like, you're beautiful, this and the other. And she was like, I ain't even thinking about trying to find nobody. I don't even want to date. I'm not even at that point. Like, it doesn't even matter. And I think that's where sometimes people from the outside, they just don't know. They're so disconnected. Like, they think they know, but they just don't know. When a person is coming out of a relationship of that fucking magnitude that has caused so much pain to a person and trauma, the last thing you should say is, oh, you'll find you something. Like, no, I didn't even think about that. For me, I remember when I was coming out of it, what my colleagues were saying is I was in a whole PhD program, right? Going through a breakup. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, they were like, sorry. I'm like, no, if anything, we should be rejoicing. And when a person is coming out of hell, you rejoice because they made it out alive, okay? I could have easily been a woman, one of those women that fucking got killed, dead. Came very close, but I survived that shit, right? And I left. And that's what the sentiment should be, but people don't know, because I think just people have this very distorted way of looking at relationships and love, right? And this is the reason why I came to this video today, because people really think that it's all about, like a woman being in love, right? Having a man and fucking being married. Like, oh, that's just like the epitome of fucking success in relationships. It's like, no, sometimes it's not even what it's cracked up to be. And that's essentially what Brianna, Mrs. Truth, was emphasizing. It's just like, from the outside, it looked like the best fucking relationship. This model relationship, when in fact, like, you have no idea what the hell a person is going through in that relationship. And when I say I was so happy, I was so relieved when I broke up with my ex, and I was finally able. It was hard. The separation was so difficult because it was like, I'm concerned about my safety. But meanwhile, especially being a mental health professional, right? Being a psychologist, I'm looking at it from put myself in his shoes, knowing how difficult it was for him to part ways with me, right? Like, it was like I was his breath. You know what I'm saying? And it's all wrapped up into his ego and his identity, who he is. So it's him having to find who he is apart from the relationship he had with me. So at the same time, I'm trying to placate, trying to nurture, trying to like encourage, that he's going to be okay by himself. But meanwhile, I'm trying to make sure that I'm safe and protected too. It was a lot, right? So happy, but this is like, I'm well over that. This is freaking 5 years ago. And just being able to get back in tune with myself and loving myself, and seeing how being removed from that relationship, how there's a glow up. Like, I look at my pictures, yo, when I was with him. I'm like, damn, I look like I was doing bad. And I look at myself now, and it's just like, damn, this is what love looks like. And it's unfortunate because, yes, like I said, as a black woman, pro-black, Pan-African, of course I'm about family. Of course I'm about procreating. Yes. I do want to do that. But it's unfortunate that it's difficult, right? For a black man and a black woman to come together and like truly love each other. I'm not putting all the blame on him, but I'm just saying, though, you talk about the toxicity in a relationship, and it's very complex, yo. So yeah, that's just how I feel. I look at women who have come out of very toxic relationships, and it just reminds me like this, I'm good. I'm fucking good. And I think it takes like a man who he really got to have his shit together. And I ask very specific questions when it comes to the weeding out process and determining, like, is this guy even worth my time, yo? And I ask a lot of the motherfuckers out. I've come across, like, you could imagine, since 2017, and we're in 2022, and of course I've been on a dating app, I've come across so many freaking men, and just X all they ass out. Sorry. It's like you have to be like damn near perfect. You have to like just be a very sweet, pure soul to connect with this soul right here. And I've gotten on here and I've shared some of my experiences. When I say dating, this is just us, exchanging phone numbers. Like, yes, I make myself available to a man that way, exchanging phone numbers. We set up a date, going out to a restaurant or to a museum. And yes, I've done that. They not vibing, they not vibrating at that frequency that you have to be very high frequency to be able to connect with me. Because like I said, when a woman has been through that level, that intensity of trauma, yes, on one hand, yes, she has those lingering effects of it, right? But on another hand, it fine-tunes her, right? So trauma ain't all bad. I think in general, like generally speaking, not just talking about trauma from relationships or physical abuse or whatever, but trauma in general, when you're interacting. And I've seen this because I work with patients who have endured significant amounts of trauma, but it's something unique about that, though, right? Nothing unique about a person who's gone through so much trauma, because they have that wisdom. You cannot bullshit their ass. That's one thing for sure, right? Because they've been through it. And I really pride myself in that gift of what I have been through, and being able to see right through all these niggas, yo. Like, and I've come across some well potential dudes, but you can't date and fall in love with potential. It just ain't happening, right? You have to be 100 and have your shit together. Yeah, and a lot of dudes, they just not there. They're not mature. They playing games, and when a woman knows herself and she know, like, okay, this is she not willing to tolerate this, right? Because this is a weakness. This is a trigger for her, right? I know myself, and I think, like, I look at Brianna, I look at this other woman that survived the cult that I was just talking about, And like, these are women you don't listen. It's probably best to leave our ass alone, okay? Because you just might end up you gonna end up really bad. It's gonna be bad for you, okay? If you hurt, because we already been through. You already been through that level of hurt. You just have no idea that it's best to or or unless you have a genuine pure soul, which. Men, a lot of men ain't there yet. They still figuring themselves out. They still trying to play the fence, right? They're not really who they say they are. They may say, "Oh, yeah, I want a woman. I want to fall in love," but they're not. They don't really know themselves, right? So they get with a woman. You realize, okay, yeah, this is not really what you want. You don't really want monogamy, or you're not really serious about that. You planning what you really want. Okay, you get your dick wet. No shade. You do what you do, but I feel like it's best for people to be honest and to not play around. This is a warning. I'm about to wrap this video up, but yeah, it's just, I feel good because it's just like, it's a reason why. It's just a reminder. Like when I see these videos, like the one I just was talking about with Brianna, Mrs. La Truth, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this is confirmation that it's a reason why I'm freaking single. Because is it even realistic to even have this expectation of men to do right by a woman? No one is perfect, true enough, but listen, I feel like black people, that's what we're talking about, black people, we have been through, just irrespective of dating, right? Just being a black person, that's traumatic in and of itself, right? We've been through so much shit, oppression, all of that, that it makes me wonder, like, can a black man and a woman truly love each other without all this extra stuff going on? This intergenerational trauma being triggered and creating this chaos, and people from that operating out of their own insecurities. Black men and black women alike, we have insecurities just from being black, right? And being looked at as lower class citizens compared to other groups of people. So just stop right. That's enough said right there. Just stop right there looking at that, like how that could affect a person's psyche, and how they see themselves, their self-concept, and how that manifests in relationships interpersonally. You see what I'm saying? It all comes out. And for me, I don't run away from challenge, clearly, because considering the shit I've been through. If anything, I run to it, but now I'm more cautious with that. So I don't back away from a challenge. So it's not about, not being accepting of a black man who has endured trauma, knowing that I come with my own set. It's a matter of, like, how do we hold each other? How do we create a safe space for each other to be fully who we just naturally are, with, all of the trauma that we've gone through and we're carrying intergenerationally, epigenetically, right? And what gets me, what really irks me though? It reminds me, like, of something I saw recently where, I'm trying to remember where I see this shit at. It was somewhere. Yeah, I think, the interaction I had with a guy on a dating app, but he's not the only one. I've seen this, like, said before, where you have men who somehow, in their minds, think that they're fucking perfect. Right? And so they'll go to say, oh, I don't want to deal with a woman. She's got too much baggage. Just too much. I'm not just like, look at the motherfucker, the kettle calling the pot black, or however you say that shit. The pot calling the kettle. Like, look at this motherfucker. And those kind of men, you can't even waste your energy on that, because I just feel like, if anything, see, I can be real with mine and put it out there. A lot of men, those are the dangerous ones that want to sit up here and point their finger and be like, oh, I can't. That's the reason why I'm single, because she got so much baggage. I can't just. All these women got baggage, and I can't deal with that. Nigga, you got your baggage too. We all got fucking baggage, okay? that's the shit that irks me when men start talking like that, because it's dangerous, because they go into a relationship thinking that they ass is perfect. So when problems arise, because yes, there's gonna be conflict, and it's gonna surface, it's gonna trigger the shit that you got in your ass that you ain't quite dealt with fully, which ain't never gonna be fully fucking dealt with. Nobody is perfect, and nobody is fully self-actualized. Okay. The point is that you should have awareness, though, and take responsibility, right? But these men, they don't. And they go in thinking that their ass is perfect and pointing a finger. And that become another thing, because, you know, thinking about Brianna's situation, even the other young woman I was talking about, 25-year-old from the cult, they are obviously public figures, right? They're content creators. It's out there, myself included, right? And a man may say, oh, right, like they listen to your story and your transparency. And yes, it can help to build a connection, right? But then it can also be used against you. They'll take that shit, and anytime something goes wrong, they want to point the finger at you. Oh, because look, you've been through this, and they're trying to make themselves like they ain't been through shit. First of all, I wouldn't even be attracted to a man that ain't been through shit. You have to have been through some shit and own it too. All of us have been through shit, right? But you have to be able to own that and take responsibility and know that your ass ain't completely fucking healed. Nobody is. I stay far away from men like that, who act like everything is just all peaches and cream in their neighborhood. You know, but then look at you like, oh, you're damaged goods. Nigga, your ass is damaged goods too. We both are. And the thing is, I think the beauty in it is that when we can come together as black men and black women and love each other through all of that, right? Being accepting of that, and we grow together, right? Not just be, you know, accepting of it and not wanting to change and improve upon ourselves, but no, like this is a never-ending journey of self-discovery and growth and improvement. Feel free to drop your comments below, but I say until then, listen, until I find my reflection, right? I guess I want a man who can match my level of crazy, okay? Meaning that he had been through some shit, so some shit that made his ass crazy, right? But at the same time, is mature enough and responsible enough to take responsibility for it and to grow from it and keep moving. Until then, I will be proudly single, okay? Because I don't think I have it. Honestly, I know myself, I don't have it in me. And I think that people like to test and play around, and a lot of guys are just not mature in that, you know, in that respect. And I think for women like myself and the women I mentioned here in this video, it's sometimes best just to be single, right? It's just best, right? We've given so much of ourselves, and now it's just like it's time to just like wallow in our singlehood and love ourselves, and not even think about a man being in the picture. It's unfortunate, but not even think about that. It's for our own sanctity. It's for our own like well-being. Because you come to this point of peace. Like, yo, being single, like, I've created this peace in my life, right? And to have another person come in my shit and knock me off my throne, you know, we gonna have some problems, right? Like, it's not gonna go well, right? And I feel like all this energy, like, this is what I'm about. All this energy, that's why I have to date, like, a man who's conscious, who's self-aware constantly, right? And is able to alchemize that energy and redirect it where it's supposed to go, right? Because there's nothing wrong with all this fierce energy, this fiery energy. I know I have it in me. This shit ain't going nowhere, okay? But we come together and be a force to be reckoned with, right? And not just as a couple, but we can build couples, strong couples. We can build strong communities, right? It comes together as a community and direct that shit to where it's supposed to be. You know, because we are not each other's enemy. We know who our enemy is. So that's what that shit should be about. We have to like truly love each other and to love your reflection, whether you're a man or a woman, to love your reflection. For the black man to love the black woman and the black woman to love the black man, we have to first love ourselves. It's okay to be single. Some people don't know what it's like to be alone. Listen, I've lived by myself for many years. I woke up every day, went to bed every day, every night, alone by myself. Even though I may have a desire to be with someone, I've done this alone by myself and come to, you have to. How else you going to make it to the next day? You have to at some point come to an acceptance of it. Because you have to be able to show up, you know, for whatever you do professionally. Me, I'm a psychologist, so of course, I have to come to an acceptance of, okay, I'm a single woman. And the dating pool is rough out here, okay? Juxtapose that with just me being a very dynamic individual myself, right? It takes a special kind of man to be able to relate to me. And for me to even see the value in who he is, right? So I had to share that. Yeah, I had to get that off my chest. And I think it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing for women, for black women who have been through those circumstances, to just love yourself. And I was on the Young Woman's Live, the 25-year-old woman who left the coat, and she was like, you know, and then she's like, yo, she is like a younger version of me. Now, I'm 39 years old. But the spirit, the fire that's in her, like, I so much see myself in her. And people are on her live. And, you know, of course, like, people from the outside looking in, they want to motivate. And, like, oh, you know, you're going to hope you find some love and this, that, and the other. And she's like, listen, okay, I'm okay if I don't ever find love. I'm okay if I remain single the rest of my life. And she said those words with such conviction because it's true. It's just like, yo, you've been there. And I think for people outside looking in, I'm about to definitely wrap this video up. But from people from the outside looking in, and people have said this to me, like, oh, what's a beautiful woman like you being single? As if I've been single all my life. I'm like, over half of my adult life, I have been partnered. Yo, I've been in 3 long-term relationships. I've lived, damn near might as well say married. We cohabitated for many years together. Committed, monogamous relationships, okay? 3 long-standing relationships. So to be free and out of that and to have a peace of mind, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I know what it's like to wake up to a man every single day. For my life, my decisions that I make in my life, to have to consider another person, right? And to make compromises. Like, I've been through all of that. Us eating together and traveling together and doing the couple thing together. I've been there, done that. So when a person is at another phase in their life, when you see them, right, and you see that this person is single, you know, I feel like people just should just shut their fucking mouth, right, and consider maybe that person wants to be single. Maybe they're okay. Maybe they're content. Maybe they feel safer being single than being with someone. It's not what it's cracked up to be. It's just not. And I've experienced many different faces of love, right? So one may say, oh, well, that's because, you know, you ain't really see what it's like to be loved or feel. No, I've experienced all different kind of faces of love. And I'm good. I'm good. And I feel like I'm not missing out on anything. The only thing that I feel like I'm missing out on is what it feels like to be a mother, to carry a child in my womb, to give birth, to nurture a child. Though I've felt that somewhat in helping my sister raise her children. Like, so I know what it's like in that respect. I don't know what it feels like to breastfeed a child. right? To carry a child and give birth. I don't know what that's like. I would love to experience it. You know, I definitely think that I would definitely bring out a different side of who I am. But yeah, on that note, I'm about to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to share your comments below. Pretty girls that are crazy, like I say, someone said that to me. It was like, you are fine. You must be crazy. Somebody said, this dude said it. You got to be crazy. I was just like, I wouldn't say it's crazy though. I don't like to be perceived as, oh, I'm crazy. Like, I feel like I know very well who the hell I am. And anything I do, I'm very calculated in what I do. My actions, my choices, my behavior, right? I feel like when people are crazy, they just doing things arbitrarily, impulsively. They don't have control, right? Like I'm very disciplined. So I don't consider myself crazy. But maybe that's what makes me crazy. Because you just never fucking know. Just never know. Okay, on some premeditated shit. Catch you guys later.